I'm joined now by David Leopold. He is the chair of immigration for the law firm UB Greensfelder and joins us from Cleveland. Great to have you this morning, David. Appreciate you being here. Let's just begin there with the economic impact of some of these policies. What are they, and how soon before the public begins to feel that?
Well, look, you're describing an atmosphere of absolute fear, not only in immigrant homes, and not only in homes where there may be somebody who is undocumented or on a visa, but also in the homes of U.S. citizens. I'm getting phone calls from people who are not only immigrants, but people who have passports, people who have lived here for years and years and years. Doctors like the one who was just deported from Rhode Island who are asking me, can I travel? Things like that. What's the impact? We're going to feel the impact in the grocery stores. None of this lowers the price of eggs, and none of this lowers the price of milk, which is what the president ran on. This is a climate of fear that I don't think this country has ever seen. And it's not about immigrants. It's about all of us. It's about our country. It's about the way we're going to live.
And what about housing? I mean, one thing that we talk about a lot in terms of housing prices and just demand for housing is the lack of supply. Talk to me a little bit about the impact we may see there in terms of perhaps a decline in workers to build these houses.
Sure. Absolutely. Well, about 20% of the home construction industry in the United States are immigrant workers, 20%. So when you take those folks out of the mix, and it's not just people who have been arrested and deported because ICE is searching for them. It's people who are afraid to go to work. It's people who are afraid to go out of their home. You described in the opening people who are afraid to travel. That's also internally, because if you travel out of your home, if you go into the sidewalk, you may find an ICE agent standing there ready to arrest you. So what does that do? If we don't have people who are building our homes, if we don't have people who are building our buildings, if we don't have people who are working on our roads and our streets and our cities and our infrastructure, then that is going to have a direct effect on the economy, of course. Prices are going to go up. Supplies are going to be less prevalent. And people are not going to be able to obtain the services they need. And by the way, it's not just in construction. And I think that when the American people voted last fall, they clearly voted for a secure border. I don't think there's any question about that. But what they didn't vote for was for their neighbor to be deported. They didn't vote for the woman or the man who takes care of their mom or their dad or their grandparents in assisted living. They didn't vote for that person to be deported. And I think they're going to be surprised when the people that take care of this economy, the essential workers, the people in the meatpacking plants, the people in agriculture, the people who are putting food on our table are gone, because the prices are going to skyrocket and the economy is going to be in serious trouble.
Yeah, I mean, that was sort of my next question. I mean, how do you respond to people who say, well, he was clearly voted in. He was voted in part because of his immigration policies. But I guess based on what you just said, I'll rephrase it this way. Have you heard any sense of betrayal from people who may have voted for him and thought, wait, this is not what I was voting for, including, but not exclusively, immigrants or people who may be connected to the immigrant community? What are you hearing on that?
I'm hearing people are absolutely surprised and stunned. And when I say that, these are people who supported the president in the November election last year. People voted, like I said, because they were worried about the border. But they are very surprised to see their doctor deported. And it's not just the doctor out of Rhode Island. I represent a lot of healthcare institutions. And people who are giving services to our parents and our family and our children and us, those folks are worried. You know, and this country, our economy is global. You know, years ago, when you had a hardware store downtown, they were competing against the hardware store across the street. Nowadays, when you have a business in your city, they may be competing with the business in Paris or in London or in Tokyo. The economy is global. We are interconnected. And to shut America off and to shut our borders and to keep our people who are actually here lawfully as permanent residents or as visa holders and taking care of our healthcare and taking care of our construction and taking care of the very services that we absolutely rely on to put those people in fear and to deport them whenever you can get your hands on them, which is what the administration is doing, is going to devastate our economy. And yes, it's going to surprise and stun the folks who voted for him. And we can already see this all across the country.
Okay. Well, we'll leave it here, but we appreciate your insights and perspective this morning. That's David Leopold, Chair of Immigration for the law firm UB Greensfelder. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Okay, we played that sound for you at the top of the show of President Trump speaking to reporters amid Air Force One late Sunday night.